So, what would one of the wisdoms be behind the Prophet ﷺ, teaching different companions in different ways? Is it perhaps that some of these companions spoke in a different dialect,
Sure.
and that was more suitable for them?
Sure. So the Qira'at, they have a lot of wisdoms behind its existence, but the main two is the meaning, like we mentioned earlier, and also ease.
Okay.
So with ease, it is due to the dialects and the different places the Sahaba were from. So the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ, they were like the Arabs of today, in the sense where the Arabs of today, they are from different areas and different lands, and they speak differently. And the Sahaba were just like that. Although they were all in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they were all in Mecca and Medina, but they were from different areas, different regions, so they spoke differently. So you find some of them unable to pronounce an alif and say Musa, Isa, Yahya. They have to say Musa, Isa, Yahya. They can't do other than that. There's a report that the Prophet ﷺ, he was with one of the companions, although some of the scholars, they don't authenticate it. This is what I meant about heavy. Now it may get heavy.
Yeah.
But inshallah, we'll make it light, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And he was teaching him Surah Taha. So he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Taha. And the companion said, Tihi, Taha, Tihi, Taha, Tihi. And that went back and forth. And it shows because he's unable to do this other reading.
Sure.
Because he doesn't speak like that in his day-to-day Arabic. He speaks differently. So the Quran came down to facilitate all these different dialects and to allow these people to recite the Quran easily.
So based on the famous 10 that you've mentioned, the most, we would say, famous or popular one is what many of us are accustomed to hearing. You go to Haramain in Mecca and Medina, you hear that. Most of the masajid, let's say, even in the West, you will hear that, which is Hafs and Asim.
Sure.
So let's just break it down, kind of. Let's because again, people hear Hafs. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Who is that in reference to? So let's just talk about maybe a few of the famous ones. Who were they, and how did that side of things develop? Like, why do we attribute it back to them?
Sure. So these 10 scholars of Quran, they were not companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and they were not even tabi'een, the majority of them. Tabi'een meaning the second generation of the Muslims.
Yeah.
A few of them were, but the majority were the third generation.
Right.
So someone may ask, okay, so if the Quran came down with these styles at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, why have these styles been named after those who have come later? And the reason is very simple. It is because they have become those who have become well known for it.
Right.
هم الذين برزوا. They become those who have become established for this qira'ah. It's like saying the qira'ah of Abdurrahman al-Sudais, or saying the qira'ah of Ali al-Hudayfi or Mishar al-Afasi. Is it their qira'ah? Does it belong to them? Is it their Quran? Is it their version? It is not. It's just their voice. So it has become attributed to them loosely. Sure. Just like that it has become attributed to these Imams loosely. So if we give a quick example, we have the most common, which is Hafs an Asim. So Riwayat Hafs an Asim. It is the one that is recited like across the world pretty much right now. Yeah. The scholars of this field, they say this has only been the case for about 300 years.
Okay.
So prior to that, Hafs wasn't the most common riwayah. So we have to speak about two things then. Before 300 years, which one was the most common one?
Yeah.
And how did this one become the most common one?
Exactly.
What was the reason? Yeah. So if we speak about what was taking place, what had happened before, they say that the Islamic lands, they are divided into East and West, as we know. So the East, Al-Mashriq, they used to recite in the qira'ah of Abu Amr.
Okay.
So the East is like Sudan, it's like Yemen, Asham, these places, Egypt, they would recite in Abu Amr. And the West, Al-Maghrib, they would recite in Qira'at Nafi'. The West, they remain on their qira'ah. So the West is countries like Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, these places, they still read that. So if you visit these lands and you see these scholars, they read in that riwayah still.
Okay.
What happened in the East, though, is a time came where the publications of the Quran were being published on a mass level, mass volume. And they found the qira'ah that was famous at that time, common, which was Abu Amr, has a lot of sounds, a lot of different recitations, sounds that are part of the recitation that is hard to write down. For example, Abu Amr reads the alif like a ya. So Abu Amr reads an-nar as an-nir, wal-dir, wal-absir, wal-himir. So you can't write that down. It's not an alif or a ya, it is something in between.
Yeah.
So they struggled with that. And it also has transmitted the hamza to be unclear. So the letter hamza is a, I, u. This qira'ah reads ha, hi, hu. So they thought, how are you going to write ha? Ha is not a letter. So they said, let's look into all of the qira'at because they are all equal and find the one that has the least of these issues. And they found riwayat Hafs to have the least, because riwayat Hafs has only one of those alifat that I just mentioned in Surah Hud. Bismillahi majriha wa mursaha. And riwayat Hafs also has one of those unclear hamzas in Surah Fussilat, a'jamiyun wa arabi. They took riwayat Hafs like that, they focus on it, and they publish its masahif, and that's it. Riwayat Hafs took over. That's pretty much in a nutshell.
I see. So
That's
that one
what
became
happened.
more popular.
Yeah.
And that's like worldwide now.
Yeah, it's not for any other reason.
I see.
One can't say it's a sunnah one or it's
Yeah.
a